So I've seen other people's videos where they talk about Sydney Sweeney, and that's the subject. So Sydney Sweeney, they always talk about her boobs. We've all been on the internet, so we've seen better boobs than that. Why I'm talking about her, I don't know anything she does. I don't know if I've seen a movie that she's in, I don't know about it. The last movie I saw was Deadpool versus Wolverine because somebody put it on YouTube for free, and I saw the Furiosa movie. So I don't really know who she is. I keep seeing her talked about in other people's videos that I watch, and then they'll show clips of her and stuff, and she just looks like the prettiest girl in your neighborhood, or somebody you went to school with that everybody had a crush on. And that's kind of a good thing, because what I'm used to in terms of entertainment that's modern that I'm not watching is they're telling you who to like. It's like what I'll equate to as black rock stuff. It doesn't matter what they want. We're just going to keep giving them what we tell you to give them, and they'll like that. It's what Diddy said when he said, I don't really want people that are talented. I want people that I can use that are willing to do whatever I tell them. Because he did say that. Although it's not a direct quote. So that's what we're getting with celebrities. People don't like, not Pedro Pascal, that's Tom Savini. People don't like, what's his name? Pedro Pascal. They don't like him because that's another person I'm hearing about. I hear about Titty Sweeney, and I hear about Pedro Pascal, and one they love, and the other one they don't like him. And that's that. I know who Pedro Pascal is. He's the Mandalorian. He wore a helmet. And before that, he was the guy in Game of Thrones where they gouged his eyes out. He was like the vain guy. He was like really good, and then the guy crushed his head, right? Something like that. So now they keep telling you, this is the kind of celebrity thing I'm familiar with. They keep telling you who you like. They did the same thing with Brie Larson with Captain Marvel. Isn't Captain Marvel great? You love Captain Marvel, and nobody liked it. They didn't like it. They stopped telling us that. So Pedro Pascal, I saw somebody's video where they're like, what movie do you want to see? The one with Pedro Pascal, the one with Pedro Pascal, or the one with Pedro Pascal? And it was 3 movies on the marquee at the movie theater, and he was in 3 of them. And yeah, he's all over the place. It's not because people like him, it's because they're telling you what you like. They don't want anyone, like in the past it used to be somebody would have a star quality, and then they would be co-opted and they have to go to Eyes Wide Shut party or HPV party, whatever you believe, both same. Or join a blood club and drink children's blood or whatever you got to do that. So they take somebody that had something and they co-opt them. Oh, you're a good musician. You want to get better? Satan. Or, you know, like, oh, here's somebody. They were like looking for talent in the past, and then they would mold and shape the person into whatever they wanted. Oh, Katy Perry can sing really good. She's a Christian singer. Let's make her sell her soul to the devil. And then she told you, I sold my soul to the devil. Now she's pretending to go to space in that bullshit lie where they didn't even go up in a rocket or do anything. The whole thing's bullshit. So that's what I'm used to with that. In the past you used to have star quality, and then they would mold you and shape you into what they wanted. But what they're trying to do now is make somebody a celebrity that's just completely nothing. We'll tell you who to be, we'll tell you who to be, what to say, how to behave. That's a Pedro Pascal guy. It doesn't have to have a star quality. We'll tell you who you like, and then we'll tell you that you like them. And that's the new type of celebrity they want to manufacture. Whether it's in music, you know, like, there's always gonna be people to hate. Oh, everybody likes that guy? I don't like him. Everybody likes her? I don't like her. There's always gonna be people like that. But you see the distinction I'm trying to make? I hope I'm not fumbling it. In the past, you had to have a star quality or an it factor. That doesn't matter anymore. Now they tell you who you like. You like Timothy Chalamet. Chalamet or whatever the guy's name is. We do? Why? Because he's the Jewish kid that's taking a bunch of minority groups and they're the free men that are Muslims or whatever, and he's going to unite them against the white people who are the evil Harkonnens. You love that. Like The Rock. A lot of people like The Rock. I never did. But a lot of people liked him. Now they hate him because, you know what I mean? But like, you had to have some kind of, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, the accent made him seem stupid. He's probably not a dumb guy. They trained him as a child to be a bodybuilder and filled him full of steroids. And then he was in all the action movies in the 80s. But he had something, which was, he imitated Charlton Heston through an Austrian accent, if you've never noticed that. That was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sylvester Stallone, he's 5 foot nothing guy like Tom Cruise, but they had some kind of quality that people latched onto and they liked them. In the 80s, people used to give Melanie Griffith a lot of shit, but she had some kind of star quality and people liked her, even though in every movie she talked like that. Keanu Reeves was in Bram Stoker's Dracula and he can't do a British accent. And it didn't matter because people would still say he's good in that and they liked him in it, even though they didn't care that he couldn't do the accent. They liked him anyway because he has some kind of a star quality, right? Harrison Ford, he's a jerk when he does an interview and people don't like him when he talks and it's Harrison Ford. But put him in the movies and everybody loves Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford. He played the president like 4 times or whatever. And they like him when he's performing because he had some kind of, they call it the it factor, they call it star quality, fallen star quality, right? But I think that's what's happening now, is they told us who we're supposed to like and it's a lot of nothing muffins. To quote Grandpa Munster, "You're a nothing muffin, Herman." Remember that? Probably not. So in the past you had to have something that was an it factor, even if you were like weren't the handsomest person. Like Christopher Cross had a hit album in the early 1980s and he won all these Grammy Awards and it was just a nice album that had nothing to do with Satan and it was such a big hit, but he wasn't a handsome guy, so they didn't put his picture on the album cover. And then when he won a bunch of Grammy Awards, he showed up to collect awards and everybody was waiting to see what the guy looked like, and he just looked like a regular guy you would work with and people were like, oh, he's not hunk. But he made music that people liked. He was so popular that Alan Parsons, I think, is it, Graham Parsons or Alan Parsons? The Graham Parsons Project? The Alan Parsons Project? I always forget the difference. One's Steve Coogan and one's a 70s prog rock band guy. So there was the Alan Parsons Project, I think, in the 1970s. And Christopher Cross was such a hit, and it was a not satanic album. And Alan Parsons is a Luciferian. He had an album called Lucifer. So he did a sound-alike song. Alan Parsons Project does not sound like Christopher Cross. This is all going somewhere, even if you don't know who these people are. So Christopher Cross had this unassuming, beautiful album, and everybody fell in love with Christopher Cross and his voice and his songs. They were innocent and sweet, and they weren't satanic, or he was not Illuminate confirmed or anything. So Alan Parsons, or Graham Parsons, whichever one it is, the 70s prog rock guy, made a sound-alike song to sound like a Christopher Cross song. He just ripped off a Christopher Cross song. That's not how Alan Parsons sounds. But in defiance of people liking an innocent songwriter that wasn't a handsome guy, that was a big hit with the world in the year that the Christopher Cross album came out, Alan Parsons made a sound-alike song called "The Eye in the Sky," just to be a shit. The eye in the sky that he's talking about is the eye of Sauron or the eye of Satan. So Christopher Cross had an innocent, wholesome album, and Alan Parsons was a Luciferian Satanist, so he's like, we got to make a song called "Eye in the Sky" to draw attention back to Satan. Or they told him to do it or whatever. I know it's a weird example to give, but it's a truthful thing. Go listen to Christopher Cross song, and then there's even like a meme about the eye in the sky from the Alan Parsons Project. And the meme is that people hear that song and it's an earworm and they go crazy and they can't stop hearing the Eye in the Sky song or whatever. It's bullshit. But anyway, the point is, the only reason that Alan Parsons made that song was because Christopher Cross made these innocent. Christopher Cross had the theme for Arthur. Did you ever see the movie Arthur with Dudley Moore and Liza Minnelli? Probably not. He had a song called Sailing. It was about how when he was a kid, he didn't have a dad, and a neighbor guy would take him sailing, and it wasn't even about being molested or anything. It was just a song about how he liked to go sailing, and the neighbor guy was like a father figure to him, so he wanted to honor him and made a song called Sailing. And there's nothing, it's like the music we get now. It's just innocent, beautiful songs, and it's a difference between now and then. Christopher Cross was a talented guy, and he didn't have to make a deal with the devil to make an album that everybody liked, and he won Grammys, and then he went away forever because he didn't want to join the Blood Club. I'm trying to think of other examples of things like this. Elton John, he wasn't a handsome guy, but him and his lover, Elton and I forget the guy, Bernie or whatever. So Elton John and his lover made these songs everybody liked, but then Elton John joined the Blood Club. But Elton John probably was a talented guy on his own. He didn't do, you know what I mean? He sold his soul to the devil and everything, and we know Elton John's a weirdo now, and he's the godfather of, Lady Gaga is the godmother of his children. That's weird. So, but you had to have some kind of talent, and then they would co-opt you. A talent, a star quality, an it factor. Maybe they're not the handsomest person or the prettiest girl, but they have something. Let's latch on to that and co-opt them. Now they're just manufacturing stars. No, we don't want you to really be anything. We'll tell you what to be. Everybody tells you that Bradley Cooper's a handsome guy and a great actor. Except that he's not. He's ugly and he's weird looking. I can say that as a man. And they're like, oh, he's so handsome. The guy looks like a Big Bird and he's got blue eyes. That's a handsome guy? No, they told you he's a handsome guy and he sucks. He's not a good actor. He's terrible. But they tell you that's a new type of celebrity. And I'm sure if I was up on movies and TV shows, think about the movies of the last 10 years. They're still relying on older celebrities. There's no new young up-and-comers that are fantastic. They're telling you who's good. And I'm sure there are actors and actresses that are good. I just don't know who they are. But I have noticed that they are doing this thing that I'm equating to a BlackRock quote from Larry Fink, which was, it doesn't matter what they want. You just keep giving them what we tell you to give them, and just keep doing that. Like Disney does. It doesn't matter, you know, here's some rich bozo. Who's would be good to be Han Solo? It was Ansel Elgort. They didn't want him. We want Alden Ehrenreich. Forgive me for butchering these names, but you know who I mean. I'm getting them kind of right. We don't care who would be a good. We don't want a good Han Solo. We want this rich guy. You know what I mean? Like, they're telling you who's good, and they're like, well, they're not really so great. And who do people like? The guy who played Superman, because he has some kind of star quality. That guy. Whatever his name is. I just realized my fan's on the whole time making noise in the background. So, Henry Cavill. People, let me turn my fan off after I've done. I'm not doing this video over again. So, it's summer, okay? So, Henry Cavill, people like him, and he has a star quality, and I'm not gonna argue about Superman. I don't like any of those guys. I don't like Superman or Batman. I don't care about any of that stuff. But they like Henry Cavill, and every time they give him, they're like, have him do it. And they're like, no, you guys like him too much. He probably had to go to Eyes Wide Shut parties or whatever to be famous as he is, whatever. Who cares? But it's like, you like that guy, right? So anything they give him to do, they gave him Superman. And they're like, no, we want a new Superman. And everybody's like, no, we still want, just have Henry Cavill still be Superman. And they're like, no, we want somebody, you like him too much, we want somebody else. Then he played The Witcher, and they're like, no, you like him too much, it's not going to be about him. Which has a lot to do with the shitting on men. But, you know what I mean? Everybody liked Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and he could have kept playing Wolverine. So they're like, no, we're going to kill him. So they kill him and they have him be like deadbeat dad Logan, and he sleeps in on a day. The kids are crossing the border and he's dying of adamantium poisoning. So he's like, you guys cross the border, I'm gonna sleep in. Was that Wolverine? Don't you think that dying Wolverine would have said, I'm gonna stick with these kids till I'm dead? They still could have killed him at the end of the movie like they did. But no, they had to let you know that he's like, no, you guys go, I'm gonna stay in. It's just, it's stupid. Anyway. So whatever it is you like, oh, you like that? Nah, you can't have that. So, they don't want star quality anymore. Like, Nicki Minaj, that's another example of this. She's not really very likable. She's willing, was she talented? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. So they had Nicki Minaj, and then she was famous for a little bit. And they're like, whatever she did wrong, I don't know, but they did do this. They were like, okay, Nicki, you don't want to play ball? We're gonna just get Cardi B. We just get another one of those. Give me another hood rat that's gonna do Nicki Minaj. So what'd they do first? Lil' Kim, and she messed up her face with plastic surgery. Okay, we need another Lil' Kim. Get Nicki Minaj. Okay, Nicki Minaj isn't working out. We need another one. Get Cardi B. And all of them don't really... Did it really have star quality just because they told you that you should like them? I don't know. Maybe people do like what they're told, but it's not working. So now you have the thing with Titty Sweetie. And there's probably something that's an it factor of star quality, which I couldn't really tell you. But I think the problem is the same thing as with Henry Cavill. You like her too much. So we're gonna tear her, we're gonna rip her to shreds. And women are mean. All the guys like, she's being like a woman and she's blonde and everything. Probably dye job. You like her? And she's like a kid, right? Like is she even 25 years old? So you're getting this kind, and also maybe it's a distraction. Like give them a distraction. Let them tear this girl apart. Let them have Sydney Sweeney for 5 minutes and then just socially engineer tearing her to fuck apart and ruin this kid. So anyway, I say I'm talking about Sydney Sweeney, but what I really want to talk about is how they tell you this is who you like. Everybody likes the video game The Last of Us. Again, that's Pedro Pascal, or however you pronounce his name. The Mangalorean guy. Not Bubba Pascal, that's Tom Savini. If you get the reference, that's so that's the Alan Smithy. Tom Savini's Alan Smithy is Bubba Pascal, if you know what that means. I'm just gonna move on. So anyway, I did The Last of Us, which is a video game everybody liked a whole lot. So they made a HBO show of it, and they're like, oh, you like that? We're gonna make the guy, what's the hell's name? Pedro Pascal. We're gonna make the dad be Pedro Pascal, and we're gonna make the daughter be the girl that looks like that's just her face. And they're just like, I've seen thumbnails of The Last of Us, and I always like her face is kind of weird or something. She's not like an ugly person. She has, you know, she looks kind of weird or whatever. So they're like, oh, you like Last of Us? We're gonna give you a potato or whatever. You know, just I don't want to shit on her. But it's like, oh, you like The Last of Us? We're gonna ruin it. We're gonna give you a potato and we're gonna make it all be about that she's a lesbian or everything. And then, you know, and then it's another thing that the guy that they told you that you like is. Maybe they like that character from Game of Thrones. So they're like, okay, you'll do what we say. And they did the same thing to Brie Larson. She was in a bunch of movies and people liked her, right? Not even like big pop. She was in Scott Pilgrim in The Room or whatever. So they're like, okay, you're gonna be Captain Marvel now. And then she did whatever they said, and now everybody hates that lady, that woman. And because she's like destroyed the patriarchy and did all that shit. So they're telling you, you love Brie Larson now. And everybody's like, no, we don't. We don't like Captain Marvel. But that's one of those, that's like the stuff that they told you. Like, you like them, right? Hey, you like the 3 movies with Rey in Star Wars? No. people that like Star Wars don't like it, and it didn't pick up a new following. Okay? Guess what? We're gonna make new Star Wars. They're threatening it like a threat. Hey, we're gonna make new Star Wars movies with Daisy Ridley, and nobody cares. No, probably not. It's probably just like to keep the threat alive, like Gene Hackman in Superman. I don't really want to blow up the world. I just want to keep the threat alive, like that. So they threaten you with new Star Wars stuff. We're gonna get more Rey, and they're like, no, and they're like, it's just whatever. It's like to make your hemorrhoids flare up or whatever, for people that care about shit like that. But I wish I could think of better examples where the songs aren't good, or the movies aren't good, and they tell you to like that person. Like people like Tom Cruise. They don't even care that he believes in a crazy religion, and there's all those things that people say about him to make fun of him because he's short or whatever. People like him because I guess he has a it factor, a star quality, whatever. I saw one of those Mission Impossible movies, the one where the train's dangling. Somebody put it up for free on YouTube, so I clip grabbed it, and it was pretty good. Right? I don't even know about the Mission Impossibles. Maybe I would like some of the older ones where the train's dangling. That's pretty. And it had the girl from Guardians of the Galaxy, and she's dressed like Harley Quinn or something. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess Tom Cruise is pretty good, because I don't care about that shit. I don't watch Top Gun. Like when I think of Tom Cruise, I think of Risky Business, because that's like, or Legend, the Ridley Scott Legend. He's superfluous. He's in it. He's like the lead, but it doesn't matter. It's just you watch all the cool stuff. Everybody thinks about Legend, and they think about Tim Curry as the devil, right? But Tom Cruise was in Legend. Did you remember that? Or he used to have funny teeth before he had his teeth capped or whatever. But he had star quality, is the point. And I think what they're trying to do now is like, no, we will manufacture the whole thing. The person is superfluous. In the future, everyone's equal and you don't matter. We'll tell you how to be. We'll tell you who the star is. We'll tell you why you like them. And none of it has to do with human qualities that come through that people like. So maybe, forgive my ignorance, but maybe Sydney Sweeney has some kind of human quality that comes through, and she's pretty and they like her, so it's like an attainable beauty with an it factor. Maybe she has that. I don't really know, because I haven't seen anything that she's in that I'm aware of, but I'm out of touch with movies and TV. I don't watch anything. I watch old. I told you the movies I saw, somebody from an impoverished third world country put them up, and that's how I saw. I was like, oh, they have the whole movie of Deadpool just on YouTube. That was like this year. And then the whole movie of the Furiosa movie, which I like that one too. The one where the girl's eyes are too far apart and she doesn't look anything like Charlize Theron. I like that movie. It had Thor in it. Thor was the bad guy or whatever. I was like, that's pretty good. Like, that's just a movie. And it had agenda stuff and everything. I was like, and so did Deadpool. When it got to the Madonna Like a Prayer thing, I turned the music off and I watched them fight. It's good. So, yeah. So, maybe you just like her too much, and they're like, nah, you can't like her too much. So now it's like Aryan pride or whatever. And it weirdly makes me think of Dune, because I just figured out that the Dune movies, I haven't seen any of the new Dune movies, but I know that the Harkonnens all look, they're like bald, and they're like completely, like their skin is painted white, and they're the bad guys in Dune. So you have this young Chalmont Jewish kid, and he unites all the other, not everybody that's not white, and they're the Freemen, which are the Muslims or whatever. Frank Herbert's an asshole. I never liked Dune. Fuck him. He's having a hot oil bath probably. Still. Yeah, I mean, like, Dune is just like Muslim propaganda, right? Like, to just unite everybody against whatever's left of white people. So now Sydney Sweeney did An American Eagle, which isn't the eagle what Zeus turned into? I don't know. So anyway, Zeus is like a surrogate for Satan, I think. So anyway, Sydney Sweeney does like American Yankee Blue Jeans commercial, and she has boobs out, and she's trying to turn you on, and like, no, the future is supposed to be ugly, and we'll tell you who to like. You like this funny looking girl from The Last of Us, she's good. You like Pedro Pascal, and you know what I mean, like, they're just gonna tell you what you like. Brie Larson, you like Henry Cavill too much. We don't want him to do anything good. Keep him out of it. We don't care if he's Illuminate confirmed or whatever he did. He went to the orgies or whatever. They like him too much. No, we'll tell you who you like. No star quality. It doesn't matter. I think it's a message that they want to send out. Like, even if most people don't think about it consciously, I think they unconsciously want people to think about, like, it doesn't matter what you want. We'll give you what you want. And we don't care whether you like it or not. We're telling you you like it. And then some people go like, I love it. Just give me whatever. But that's not most people even. That's why there's no stars. They you know, forget about Diddy parties and burning Hollywood down and stuff. It's communism, socialism, Marxism stuff. The party will tell you what you like. It's probably like what you have in China. They don't want anybody to have a charm or anything like that. Or, well, being charming is like witchcraft. It's probably not a good word to use, but they don't want anybody to have like a human quality. It's something about them that they can exploit. They just want a completely exploitable blank bio unit. Here, there's your star. And then you're like, you know what I mean? Like, where's the new... Like, we have a lot of celebrities that are famous, people that have it factors. Where's the young up-and-comers? A lot of these people are old and dying. Sandra Bullock, people liked her. She had some kind of star quality, right? I didn't like her, but I know a lot of people did. And I could say, okay, she had some kind of something about her that was of her that people liked. John Wick, that guy, he's like he's pushing 60 now, right? Like, isn't John Wick gonna be 60 or 62 or something? Keanu Reeves. Everybody likes that guy. There's something about him that people like. And even Joaquin Phoenix, that guy's not young anymore. People like him. He always plays the same character, right? Some guy that doesn't have self-confidence, and then he gets it and then goes wrong with it. Jim Carrey used to be that guy. But now there's like, they don't want you to, they're like, we'll tell you who you like. So who stands out? Really nobody. Who's the young up-and-comers? Everybody told you you like Chalifant. Do you like that guy? Isn't he great? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen Dune or any other stupid shit that he's in. But it's not to pick on the person. Like, a lot of people now more than ever want to be famous for something. I'll do it myself. I'll make videos and then they'll watch them and like me, and I'll get all the hits and humiliating myself for being mean to other people, right? It's a way to get attention. Saying negative things or doing negative things or trying to be loved, and then, you know, build them up and tear them apart. So that's what they're trying to do. You like Sydney Sweeney? No, she's a Nazi. It's bullshit. I watched two videos on that. I'm like, what are they complaining about? 'Cause she made a Yankee Blue Jeans commercial, and it's like, no, it's American Eagle, that's too American. And she's blonde hair, blue eyes, big tits. Everybody likes that all over the world, even if the woman's a dye job. Every race of man notices the things that stand out, which is blonde hair, blue eyes, big tits, and she's probably short, right? Everybody, everybody loves that. And if they, what did they like if they don't like that? Japanese and Korean chicks. And what's all this Korean stuff? Again, where's the Korean stars that have anything? Like, there's you'll hear about all this Korean stuff and K-pop and Korea this and Korea that. Korea is a place that's more repressed than Japan, because Japan's like, oh yes, whatever you know, like, they're very polite and docile and everything. Not just the women, the men, right? And they all behave and they do what they're told because they're 20 years ahead or 20 minutes ahead of everybody in being socially engineered. Because I used to talk shit about Japan a lot. Not that I don't have a problem with the people, it's that how they're programmed, all right? And there's a lot of great things about Japan. I'm not going to negate that. But The Japs repressed the Koreans. So the Koreans are repressed by the Japanese people. So you can imagine the horrors that go on in the minds of Korean people. Korea is the #1 place in the world to go get plastic surgery. The government endorses plastic surgery. So if you want to get cheap, the cheapest, fastest, easiest plastic surgery, it's a beacon to the world to go to Korea to get plastic surgery. When the kids are graduating high school, they're encouraged by their parents, not all of them, but a lot of them are encouraged to get plastic surgery. And there's a stigma for Koreans, a Korean girl that doesn't want to get plastic surgery, because there's basic stuff they do. They say it's just Korean thing, but it's not about being westernized, except that they get one of the most common plastic surgeries in Korea for Korean girls is to get their eyes widened, get surgery to make their eyes be open more, to change themselves so that they look less Korean, to get to, I don't know, look like anime characters, whatever it is. But I've seen videos on this, and it's a thing, and it's disturbing. I've seen documentaries on this, like the Koreans and the plastic surgery, and it's because of the repression. Like, they're like, Japan had a big influence on crushing those people. So what do they export to the world? Look at how Japan behaves, and everybody wants to go to Japan and bother them and stuff like that, because they're so, you know, because they're 20 years ahead in being socially engineered, not just 20 years ahead technologically, they say, but it's like, what do they want people to be like in the future? They want them to be like the Japanese people, where they do what they're told. But even Japanese people have their own temperament and sensibilities, so even they don't really go along with everything. But that's more of the kind of people that they want in the future. Name me big Japanese stars. Who you got? Again, it's gonna be old time. Takeshi Kitano, he's a comedian. Name me whatever. I don't need to know about Japanese celebrities. I know even less about Korean celebrities. But I know that there's all this Korea stuff aimed at the young people. And it's all about plastic surgeries and being young and beautiful and rail thin, and all the pop star, they're like, the men aren't like he's a manly Korean man. No, they're like Korean teenage girls, the Korean teenage boys. Was that Korean band that was popular a couple years ago, the BTK Killers? That was a bunch of Korean LGBTQ 97-pound Korean guys, where they had to like not have microphone stands so you could see them, right? And have whatever. So what it's the personalities. Oh, there's a Korean celebrity. If you know any of these, probably if you're watching my channel, you don't know Korean celebrities either. But what are their personalities like? It doesn't matter. It's about what they look like and how they obey. And that's what they want for the future. You like what we tell you you like. You like Koreans. Why? Because they'll do whatever the fuck we say, and they don't really have personalities because they're not allowed to. You know that the real person, the performer that's a famous Korean person, has a real personality, but that's not the public image that they're promoting to be famous. Smile, do this, don't do that. You're a puppet. The real person isn't a puppet, it's a real living human being. But if you're in one of those girl bands or whatever that the Koreans are famous for, it's about being whatever they're told to be, not about who the person really is. They tell them, you like this and you like that. And, you know, they're trying to do that with whatever they're like. We're supposed to head into an age, they don't want us to really have celebrities or to idolize things like that. They're like the party, the committee, whatever. No, you like this. Like when China, they were looking for the new Panchen Lama, which is supposed to be the reincarnated best friend of the Dalai Lama. And every time there's a new Dalai Lama, whatever that means, they want to find the reincarnation of his best friend. I think they even made a movie called like Kundun or something. I think Keanu Reeves was in it, or Little Buddha, I think it was called. So they took Keanu Reeves, and he was supposed to be the next Buddha or next reincarnated friend of the Buddha or whatever the hell it was. And that was Keanu Reeves that was in that movie. But this is what Chinese government did. The Tibetans the Buddhists, Tibetan Buddhists, whatever, went around looking for the next Panchen Lama, which was the childhood best friend of the Dalai Lama. So they found a kid that they said, oh, this kid's obviously the reincarnation of the Panchen Lama. So the Chinese government took that kid away and said, no, that's not your Panchen Lama. And they gave the Tibetans another kid. They said, this reincarnated kid you were looking for, which there's no reincarnation, I don't believe in it, I just want to say that. They took the kid away that they found to be the new Panchen Lama and that they ripped away from his family, and the Chinese government took it away from the Tibetans and said, no, that's not your Panchen Lama. Here's the Chinese government officially sanctioned Panchen Lama. You can have this kid. Brainwash this kid. He's your new Panchen Lama. That's pretty crazy, right? I mean, I don't care about the religion of Buddhism. The Dalai Lama is like some kind of agent or something, right? It's CIA or whatever. I don't even know. One of those three-letter organizations. It's like the Dalai Lama. It's all bullshit, right? That's like some kind of, it's an op or whatever. But it's interesting that the Chinese government, you know, like I'm just saying, like they're like, I'm just explaining to you the levels of authoritarianism that they're trying to bring to us. It's like the whole thing with celebrities, what they're trying to give us with celebrities now in America is like the Panchen Lama situation. No, you don't like them. You don't like Titty Sweeney. You don't like Henry Cavill. This is who you like. You like Pedro Pascal. He's a pussy. He's a faggot. You like him. And it's, let me see your nails, bitch, and he's daddy, whatever. You hate that guy. You like Henry Cavill. Even if you don't like him, you like him better than Pedro Pascal. So it's, you see what I mean? Like, I just want to sum up this episode, but I think I got to my point, even though it took too long. Sorry for wasting a half an hour just to tell you that, like, what do you like? No, you can't have him. Here's who you like. That's the Henry Cavill, Pedro Pascal thing. Oh, that movie Wicked, where they have that lady that's an ugly witch, and she has a shaved head and she's ugly as shit. And they're like, that's who you like. You like that woman that's ugly shaved head witch with the long fingernails and shit. And she's like literally a witch, and she's ugly as shit. That's who you like, not Sydney Sweeney. Even though like if you had to pick between that ugly witch from Wicked, right? Okay, Wicked, Frozen? No. So you like this ugly witch. She's a star now. And what is she? What do you like about her? Not a single fucking thing. But, you know, a lot of people will tell you what they like about Sydney Sweeney, and it's like whatever she looks like, and then maybe she's a good actress, I don't know. But that ugly witch that was in Wicked, that was the star of Wicked, that they painted green and shit, there's nothing you like about her. And when she did videos, it gave everybody, when she did interviews for Wicked, it gave people the creeps, because I saw some videos on that. And there's nothing to like about her. But that's who you like now. You like her. And you're not allowed to like Sydney Sweeney. She's a Nazi. There you go. Do you get it? They're telling you, the committee has decided this is your officially sanctioned celebrity. You like Pedro Pascal, and he's half a queer. Or 100%. It doesn't matter. And he's licking a lightsaber, whatever that shit was. So, you like the Fantastic Four? Nobody really gives a shit about the Fantastic Four unless you actually read comic books when they were any good. So it's like people in their 50s like the Fantastic Four because that's, you know, they were old enough to read Fantastic Four comic books, all right? Or if you're a young person and you found old comic books that belong to your uncle or your dad or whatever. So nobody gives a shit about Fantastic Four. The only people that were excited about it were not excited that it was going to be Pedro Pascal. So that's who you get. He's your guy that you like. You like him. People liked Robert Downey Jr., even though I think he's a weirdo and I don't like him. But they liked him. He had some kind of star quality. So, forget about him. You want Iron Man again? You can't have him. You like what's his name? Robert Downey Jr. Just we want to make money. Disney doesn't give a shit about money. They make propaganda. Everybody liked Tony Stark. Why don't they just bring him back? Why don't you just give us the guy that played Captain America and Thor? Just keep that going. Iron Man's a guy in a suit. He can keep being a guy in a suit. It's a robot suit. He can get old, right? You have an old gray streak in his hair or whatever. No, you like Pedro Pascal. No, we don't. That's who you get. Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Dr. Doom now. You can have that. I don't know, whatever. That's what I think. That's my opinion. That they're telling you the committee has decided that this is officially celebrity, #1 celebrity you like. No more moose and squirrel. You like Boris Natasha. You see the Doctor Strange movie. People like Doctor Strange. They want to see that guy. Benger Cumberbatch. You like that guy. Did they like him? No, he goes to the girlfriend that he didn't get's wedding when she marries some other dude, and then the movie's about the witch, because that was another free one. The Multiverse of Madness. I saw again the same channel that I got. The same channel I got Deadpool versus Wolverine. Also had the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and also had the Marvels. So I clip grabbed all 3 of them. And those are like the most recent movies I saw, which are all from like last year or 2 or 3 years ago. And I saw the Doctor Strange one, and don't watch it. They're throwing up all kinds of gang signs and sigils. They're throwing up satanic sigils. The whole movie, like he's throwing up all these signs, and there's all these, you're being hexed or whatever. So don't watch it. But the movie is about the witch. It's the Doctor Strange movie, and it's about literally a mentally ill bitch that's crazy. And it's about her. And then Doctor Strange is in the background. He's cucked. He's like, I'm high. Whatever. So you like Doctor Strange? It's about the witch. Whatever you like, it's about something else. You like Captain Marvel? No. Here's a movie about Captain Marvel, and girls are besties, and they're obsessed with food. And then what saves everybody at the end of the movie? Cats. Be a wine aunt and obsessed with your cats, and that's Captain Marvel. Although they did, I don't know why they did this, but they did show you that Brie Larson was pretty in that movie. They did a lot of ass shots, a lot of not cleavage, but they're like, look at her, like they did make her look like a woman. I was like, yeah, Brie Larson's actually pretty. Everybody was hating her, but she's a good looking woman. And she's no spring chicken either. But it's like, it didn't matter, because it's shit. It's Captain Marvel movie, and they let you look at her, and she looked good, and again, a lot of ass shots. But who cares? Like, it's superfluous, and she didn't do anything, and she wasn't even really the star of her own movie, and she kind of like had to stand down for 2 people. You don't even remember what they look like when the movie's over, which is that Kamala Khan, and then some black chick, and there's like kind of chunky. And then it's not even about her. And then Nick Fury's at the end going, did nothing. And it was just shit. And they spent like millions of dollars on a movie that sucked. And the only thing I remember about it was Brie Larson's actually pretty. And she's destroy the patriarchy and hates white dudes and everything. Whatever. So that's what you get. You can have Brie Larson. But they hated her so much that they was like, okay, they didn't like her. Now you like Pedro Pascal. Now you like that crazy black bitch from Wicked. Those are your stars. And whoever else they give you that you don't like. Yeah, I don't know. So they're doing the Marvel Doctor Doom movie. What is it? Secret Wars. And they'll bring back the old characters. Probably to make them evil. To tell you that they're no good, or to just make them, turn them into wimps. Like, whatever you liked about them, they're gonna wreck it somehow, because it's like communism, Marxism, socialism. That's the movies. That's everything. And then horror movies is about murder and killing and tearing things apart. So horror movies can stay the same, all right? Because horror movies were about the final girl. They don't need to change it, right? And you have the Terrifier. Oh, did you see the Terrifier Part 6? Did you see the way that he eviscerated an orphanage of he went into the nursery in the hospital and he pulled out the entrails of all the babies and tied them up, and it was a Christmas movie, whatever bullshit. It's just disgusting. I'm never gonna. I hear people talk about the Terrifier, and I'm like, it's pornography. It's violence pornography. Because I don't think pornography has to be necessarily sexual. It just has to be like, it's just disgusting. What I've heard about the Terrifier movies, I'm like, why would you watch that? Why would there be 4 of them? It'd be the kind of thing where people like, you see that disgusting movie, and then you tell them about it, and then like nobody watches it because like, what the hell's wrong with you? You want to, oh man, the gore. You want to believe the gore. He kills the babies. Shut up, asshole. Bullshit. So you'll like what we tell you like, and in the future you'll own nothing and love it. They're threats. They're dirty threats, and it's not taking. So what do they have to do? Also, maybe the whole thing with the girl with the blondie is a distraction. Oh, you like her? She's no good. So there's all kinds of crazy shit going on in the world. Waste your time talking about that. So if I'm going to talk about that poor girl, whatever they're doing to her, sexualizing her, she's probably not even 25. So whatever they're doing to that poor girl, I'm going to be famous, everybody likes me, and they're using her. They're using her for sex or whatever because it's a tool. But also, like, it's just a distraction. They're using that person who wanted to be famous and wanted to be an actress and everything, and they're using her as a distraction from like whatever is going on in Israel, or how they're genociding people in Palestine, or Epstein or whatever. Just have a series of small-scale conflicts at all levels, just using that girl for another diversion because she looks like the prettiest girl in your neighborhood, or the girl that everybody had a crush on in high school where you went to school or whatever. That's all. And anybody that has, like, you know, the Ironheart. Oh, they had a Disney series of Ironheart. People complained. I don't see any of this stuff. They complained about Ironheart. It's about a hood rat that steals an Iron Man suit. A hood rat steals an Iron Man suit, and everybody says that it sucks. Yeah, and they spend a lot of money on it. Who gives a shit? We'll give you what you like, even if you don't like it from the first. They're making it this shit for no one. It's just to let you know, we're gonna keep giving you what you don't want. You want some kind of escapism? There's no escape. You like Iron Man? Here's a hood rat that steals an Iron Man suit. So it's like shitting on black people. Oh, and what did she do? She steals an Iron Man suit and then she makes a deal with the devil. Although it is a good casting choice, the idea that Sacha Baron Cohen would play Satan is appropriate, because I don't like him. So that's probably great. He's probably going to be a great devil. Because that Borat shit is evil. That's like some kind of propaganda stuff, right? The Borat, I am Borat from Kazakhstan and make love to his sister. You know what's in Kazakhstan? Astana, the smart city they already built. That's full of like pyramids and phoenix statues and topiaries of phoenix rising from the ashes. Yeah, Astana. Like there's YouTube videos. This is in my playlist titled, I think it's in a couple of my playlists. One of them is stuff other people made for you to watch, and Bible stuff. I have videos that people made about Astana. One of the titles of the video is Death to My Enemy Astana. It's somebody else's video, not my video, but I put it in the playlist. And it's just a video where somebody photoshopped a little video about nukes being launched to destroy it, because they already know about Astana, because it's probably a Russian video, and they hate it, and they think it's the evil New World capital. And that's where Borat's telling you, Sacha Baron Cohen, Borat, is saying, oh, it's this backwards place. It's where the first smart city that you don't even know existed already is built. Astana is the smart city that already exists, that they built, and nobody was even paying attention. And Borat says it's a backwards place, and he's inbred and everything, and that's where the smart. It's on purpose. Sacha Baron Cohen's an evil bozo. So anyway, but people did like him. They liked. I saw the Borat movie. I laughed my ass off when he comes downstairs at the dinner party. He's got a bag of his own shit in his hands, and I laughed. It's a very funny movie, but that guy's a jerk. The Ali G stuff, very funny. But yeah, he's a bad guy. So anyway, we will tell you who is star now. You know you don't like Pedro Pascal, and you probably never even seen anything he was in. I saw the Game of Thrones where the guy pushed his eyes out. I watched the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, and I used to fast forward through sex scenes because I don't want to watch that shit. Even back then, I was like, that's not why I'm watching this. To me, Game of Thrones was who died this week, and you would just watch it to see who they killed because it's gonna be shocking, like anybody they could kill. Same thing with Walking Dead. Is like a soap opera where the characters on the show, like who's gonna die? It could be anybody. Are they still doing Walking Dead? Is that still on? Because I said that it could just go on like a soap opera. I mean, I think soap operas they don't even have any anymore, right? Daytime soap opera's gone. Walking Dead is just a soap opera. Professional wrestling is just a soap opera. You know what a soap opera is? It used to be like a romantic drama for women who are at home, and there'd be commercials for soap and cleaning products and stuff, so they called them soap operas because of that, because they would try and sell because when women used to be able to stay at home, staying at home in the past was boring because they didn't have computers, and now because we have computers and the internet, the women are like, oh man, if we could just stay at home. So anyway, I hope this video was interesting to you. I feel like I should edit out like a whole bunch of shit where I just keep telling you the same thing over and over again. So I'm sorry if I did that to you, but I feel like I was a tack hammer over the head the whole time, just trying to tell you that they're gonna tell you who to like, even though they suck, and they don't have to have a personality. Just give them. They'll just tell them what to do, and that's how they want us to live, and it's not working because people, if anybody does anything that's kind of interesting or like a human thing, then and people see that, or they latch on to the humanity of Sydney Sweeney or Henry Cavill or whoever the hell it is, then people are gonna more than ever like latch on to that and say, wow, like we like that person, even if they don't know why, because something of the actual person comes through in a performance or whatever, or in the music, in a song or whatever, and they're like, no, we don't want you to have that in the future, so we're gonna wreck it. You like Pedro Pascal, you like the bitch from Wicked, and I know people like the singer girl, the Gariana. I know they already liked her. I'm talking about that evil witch lady. Nobody likes her. Nobody ever liked her. Did they like her in why do I keep calling it Frozen? Who the hell cares? I'm gonna leave now. You understand what I mean. You will like what we tell you to like. This is your favorite celebrity. 1, 2. This is a favorite woman. This is a favorite man. You like, this is who you like now. And then you don't like them. Anyway, I do the Russian voice to just because to make you think of communism, Marxism, socialism. Because if you ever saw the Deadpool movie and they go to the X-Men mansion and they have a bust of Karl Marx. Did you see that? Just type it up as a YouTube search. The Xavier Academy Karl Marx scene, and you'll see it. Deadpool's a jerk. The movie was fun though. That's the best superhero movies, the ones that are shitting on the superheroes, because I don't like them. Superheroes are just surrogates for the old gods. Hey, we want people to venerate and do idolatry. Get them to worship the old gods and get cold cast resins and plastic statues and little bobbleheads, and these are your idols. Or you can have Korean K-pop idols that have no personalities, and what's the difference between a K-pop kid and a Funko Pop? They're both mouthless, have no voices, they look like baby heads, and they have blank, cold, dead eyes, and they have no voice of their own, and that's a Funko Pop or a K-pop. It's the same thing. Funko K-pop. Wow, that's a perfect combination. How many Funko Pops do they have of K-pop stars? Probably all of them. And they have just about as much warmth and personality, you know, publicly. I'm sure there's plenty of crying when a K-pop star is, you know, behind closed doors when they're like, I want to be a human. I'm gonna go, it's too much. I'm back. There's something I forgot to tack onto this. Comedies went away, and people complained about it. They're like, there's no rom-coms, which is romantic comedy, and they're just not making comedy movies. Communism, Marxism, socialism has no place for comedy. You can't make fun of stuff. You can point the finger. Extreme liberal, you know, socialist, Marxist comedy isn't comedy. They have no space for that. You can't mock anything. Like, you can only tear apart and denigrate. So that's why, like, socialist comedy doesn't exist. Like, you know, breadtuber comedy isn't funny. Like, that's just kind of mean. That's like by design. That's what communism is. There's no funny. Nothing's allowed to be funny. Unless it's somebody being like an idiot, like somebody falling down and like dropping a bucket and spilling, you know, pie in the face. That's what you can have. That's communist comedy. And they don't even want you to have that. Why should you laugh? You want everybody wound too tight all the time. That's communism, Marxism, socialism. What are they laughing at? That's a pressure release valve. Laughing's an involuntary thing. We don't want people to do anything involuntarily. We want you to do what we tell you to do. Stick with the cortisol. You can have dopamine, cortisol. No unexpected involuntary laughter. That's a pressure release valve. We want to keep the pressure on and never let it go. And if you died, and we don't care. So anyway, so there was no comedies for a while. Now it seems like they did Happy Madison 2, the golf thing, and they did Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. And again, it's just old shit to bring back. They're gonna make another scary movie, the Wayans Brothers shit. They're gonna do another one of those. So what? Is this like a flare up, like a pack of hemorrhoids of comedy again? Actually, comedy would be a good thing. It's not really hemorrhoids. So you want comedy a little bit, kind of? Okay, well, we're gonna wreck it for you again. So it's like a distraction or a little bit of pressure release valve. Don't expect it to last. So they took comedy away. I don't really think it's gonna be allowed to come back. I don't know, were those movies funny? The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson came out. Do people like it? People would like anything, and probably like Happy Madison too, because just because it's anything, just anything. I remember when we were locked up and I saw the Young Missy and the one with David Spade and Hubie Halloween, and it was like pressure release valve for me. I was like, these are funny. Like, it was like, I mean, they're terrible and it's shit, and you know that their movies are garbage, but I laughed at both those movies. I liked them both, and I know that they're junk. The same thing as Happy Madison Part 2. But yeah, I mean, like, people are like, are we allowed to have comedy again? Yeah, don't expect it to last. I mean, yeah, maybe it will, but you know that it's not intended for you to get to have comedy. But I just wanted to mention that, like, communism, Marxism, socialism, name me the great Russian comedians in a communist era. They don't want you to have that. That's why shit wasn't funny. Like, bread tubers making jokes, they're just mean. Like, I said this already, but I'll say it again just to clarify so you don't forget. Like, that's why they're not funny. Hey, did you see the Curtis Connor comedy tour? No. Nobody did. He's not funny. He's not even a comedian. He's a bread tuber YouTuber guy, right? He's the guy that had, like, he's just like, what is that? What is that guy? I don't know. Grounds for Mercy killing? Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna pick on that guy. I shouldn't even know who that guy is. Who's he trying to hurt? Nobody. He's trying not to hurt anybody. He's trying to be completely inoffensive, beta male. He just wants to touch a boob, right? Is that what that guy is? So anyway, it's like Doug Henning comedy tour. That's a Curtis Connor to me. I know nobody knows who Doug Henning is, but he was like a comedian, and he was a magician, and he was just completely inoffensive, and he wanted to give you magic and wonder, and he's very nice and very polite, and he died a long time ago. But anyway, yeah, I mean, communism, Marxism, socialism doesn't have comedy. Even though I know that the Deadpool movie had the Marx statue in Professor X's alternative lifestyle teen academy, but you know, like, that's why people like Deadpool and Wolverine so much. Like, if you think about the superhero shit, I guess I'm gonna keep talking, I guess. If you think about the superhero stuff, they would make a lot of money if they made them rated R, because the people who know about that superhero stuff that actually like it aren't children. They're grown-ups. So that's why the rated R superhero movies make a lot of money. So they tried to make Thunderbolts, and they're like, it's like a rated R superhero movie, but except that it's not. And it didn't make a lot of money. Logan made a lot of money, was the rated R Wolverine movie, and the Deadpool movies are all rated R, right? And they all made a lot of money. And they had a sense of humor. And that's all things that, you know, they tried to take away from us. You know, I guess Deadpool could do it or whatever, but that's why people liked him. And you don't even have to like Ryan Reynolds. A lot of people don't like him, and they're willing to put that aside just to see anything that they might like. People do want to be entertained. Why should I be special or different than anybody else? And I just kind of gave up on trying to find anything. You know, maybe if something cool, like maybe I will watch Beetlejuice Part 2 if it ever shows up on free for Tubi. I don't even want to I don't really want to see Beetlejuice 2. But, you know, like, I'm trying to think of, like, what would I watch? I would allow myself to see that one if it was for free. Maybe it'll show up on YouTube. I don't know. The thing that pisses me off, though, about stuff that shows up on YouTube, like, I found a couple movies, like I told you about earlier, that just showed up on YouTube. But I've tried to, like, maybe they put this movie up, and I search it, and it's some bozo from India, and he does like a feature-length bullshit thing where he talks through the whole movie, and it's like scenes from the movie. I'm like, what the hell is that? There's so many of them. Then again, there's a lot of people in India. So, yeah, anyway, they just, you know, we weren't allowed to have comedy while they put on, like, we're just gonna plow through with this agenda bullshit, so they took comedy away. And you know, the cancel culture stuff, they weren't allowed to be funny. It's a pressure release valve. You can't make fun of the party. You can't make fun of the committee. There's nothing funny about that. So they tried to cancel everybody, and now the comedian's like, yeah, man, they tried to cancel us, and here we are, Joe Rogan and his buddies, and they suck and they're not funny, and nobody cares. And the only videos that people watch about Joe Rogan and his friends are the ones making fun of him. I know Joe Rogan is like a really popular guy, but people that want to laugh don't watch Joe Rogan to laugh, do they? I don't know. I don't watch Joe Rogan. I think he just wants you to take drugs. And he's a bozo, and he has a CIA handler or whatever. Okay. And Tucker Carlson is a bozo. I never liked him. Nick Fuentes is a fed. What's her name? The black chick. Candace Owens is a bozo. Gab McInnes was never any good. Steven Crowder, same. And probably all those people I just mentioned probably all went to the same college. Or at least, I'm telling you, those people I just named, at least 2 of them, if not 3 of them, all went to the same college probably, right? Tucker Carlson, why would you ever like him? Anyway. And, I don't know what the hell this is now. I just went on to, so anyway, you like Pedro Pascal, and forget about Sydney Sweeney. She's a neo-World War II German. You don't like her. Don't look at her. You want to look at pretty girls, you have to watch TikToks that are telling you that you're no good. Those are where only places you can see pretty women is TikTok's telling you that all men are toxic. That's all you get. And you can look at Brie Larson's ass if you want to sit through the Marvels. Just, you know, go find an AI generated image of her doing push-ups or something, whatever, and then you can have that. So I'm gonna go now. No looking at blondes. You like Pedro Pascal. Watch him blow dudes. Whatever. I'm done.